The next one up is another man for the north of Scotland. It's Kenny McRae. Now, Kenny always astounds me in more ways than one. Tonight he's going to do a poem that I've never heard before, and he says there's a couple of room and it'll be alright. I say the Slamannan, you can say what you want. I'm sorry for the folk to come or not. Kenny McRae.
I'm going to lower the tone again. Hope you're all broad-minded. Anyway, here we go. I stayed for a long number of years in Portobello before I moved out to the estate. And this is about Portobello, it touches Portobello. The Foreign Legionnaire, Andy McNabb, a young Scottish laddie from Porty, joined Foreign Legion to forget about Nelly. He got drunk one night and done her wrong. That's why he had to leave Portobello. That's all the beginning. He left without saying goodbye to Fairley and Threens, with his bagpipes and nae awkward glance. He boarded a train at Waverley to London, crossed over from Dover to Calais in France. He was sent to a fort away out in the sand. He'd walked all the way from Tangiers. When he staggered through high fortress walls, he collapsed on the ground and burst out in tears. Oh, what he had done, wiping his ear on his sleeve. I must have been off my head. Worst it was, I can't speak French. I wish I'd joined Royal Navy instead. The sergeant at the fort was an ex-Nazi Jerry, a monster who was nasty and cruel. But that didn't bother our soldier laddie. He'd been taught in Portobello High School. And they snarl at the laddies when they try to get tough. I was brought up with some tough guys and bullies. I can handle myself. As he's been at his drew, back off or I'll cut off your gullies. I tell you. One day when patrolling the desert, the Jerry made a lunge into the alley with a club. But McNabb knew a bit of karate and hit the Jerry a belt on the gub. He went down the sand, hiding his mouth, his teeth halfway down his throat. Now when he tries to go to shout out orders, he sounds more like a nanny goat. They came to an oasis in the sand dunes. In the water, a lassie was haying a clean. And though they were all dying with thirst, she didn't care where she had been. And the McNabb shouted, "Get out of there!" The poor lassie through the water did crawl. The men threw around, their tongues hanging out. No, with thirst, that lassie wore nothing at all. I nearly made a mistake there. It wasn't intentional, believe me. Andy one night went down the Casbah. He fancied a smoke out a hookah. He soaked and drank through that tube and then he made me know a bad looker. When he saw her the next morning in the glare of the bright morning light, she was bald, had your knee and only one leg. He said, "You've not half changed in the night." Oh dear. I don't know this. Anyway, to carry on. He staggered out her place to soldiers that was out of bounds, right into the arms of 12 burly redcaps who were passing doing their rounds. "You're for it now, McNabb," they said as they carried him off to a cell. McNabb laughed. "I'm not really caring. In fact, you can all go to hell." Before the CEO in the morning, McNabb looked a right scruffy sight. He'd been sick out of his tunic and he'd not a pure night. cap in hand in front of the Major, and who looked at him up and down in disgust. McNabb blurted out, "Excuse me, sir, I'll need to go for a beer, I'll burst." "You said it was all right." One of his mates went out with a lassie with a figure like Marilyn Monroe. But when she took her ass mark off, she had a beard like Fiddle Crasto. His best pal bought a smasher for 3 camels, a dusky, dark-haired lass for the men. The year went by and they got older and older. He wished he'd kept the camels instead. And he was sitting in the shade of a palm tree when a coconut fell on top of his head. He roared as he rubbed the bump on his nut. "I'm not wanting about, you send me up doing the Mars bar instead." He tried to cover the bump with his kepi so he wouldn't be seen by his mates. They laughed at him at his discomfort, so he pelted them with camel pats and dates. There was nothing but sand for miles around, as far as his eyes could see. We could do with some of this in Porty to spread out in front of the sea. They were far and had no water in their flasks. They all lay down to die in the dunes. Whenever a sandhill came Gunga din, we gave each man a swally by desert spoons. Jumps on me when I go in. I'm only going to have beach. But the moose remained dry and swollen. Some had taken as much as they could catch. Gunga din disappeared as quick as he'd come. It turned out he was just a mirage. Your sergeant never forgave Handy for what he'd done and was determined to get his aim back. He had a caution in his hand, he waited for Andy to pass and belted his soldier a hell of a whack. But his timing being right with his timing, he realised too late his cowardly blow. The guy he had killed and battered was none other than the Foreign Legion CO. That nasty jether got life in the glasshouse, and he was glad and played a reel on his pipes. They needed somebody to take Jenny's place, and he ended up with the sergeant's 3 stripes. After a few years he left Foreign Legion back to old Portobello he hoped nearly to wed, but she had married another and had 3 kids, so he married Jessie, her sister, instead. He settled down in that tune by the 4th. The kids would gather round Andy on the sands. He'd relate his adventures in Foreign Legion, but out there was no Slamannan bands. This is right. You may think I've spun you a dog's tail. Good. And I met a lot of porkies I tell. But I put my hand in the Bible. I heard these stories for the old sergeant himself. Because I was a parent of one of the kids who listened to that old man by the sea, but often gazed at him intently and wondered why he looked like me.